Good morning, this is Suniti, 21st March 2012, update on the office orchid which showed a secondary spike and a primary spike, and they're all in bloom, doing really well in this north facing window. You can see the sunlight out there, it doesn't come here. So I really like looking at this spike because of the gorgeous display of the flowers. Now this kind of symmetry where you see a flower, and on the other side a flower is called shingling. So when it is done, when you're consistent with pointing the orchid to the light, it shows a very nice symmetry. So each flower is exposed. We'll take a look at it from the back. You see how the shingling occurs. So the stem goes this way, that way, this way, that way, curving. So we get a beautiful exposure for each flower. And as I said before, I really enjoy looking at the face of the orchid and the way the flowers bloom. So here we are. Here is the primary spike over here. And here is the secondary spike that came from this spike. You can see the dead part there, and this is the secondary spike curving downwards, which is how it does in nature. I can imagine how they hang in their natural habitat, clinging to the trees and then hanging down beautifully like this. So, okay, place it back there. Shaking. Have another look. Okay, thanks for watching. Good morning, this is Suniti. The date is 22nd March 2012. An update on all my orchids that are now in full bloom. So here is the fragrant orchid, as you can see here from a distance, yeah, fully opened, all the branches, every bud, all opened, receiving the lovely pale morning sun. And of course there's a mild fragrance that's flooding the room. Well, not flooding, let's say just floating about very gently. Here is the mini orchid. One of the blooms is falling and the buds are opening. There might be a couple of more buds there. The rest of the plant looks great. It is in moss and doing alright. The mini orchid here is showing a new leaf here, doing well, nice glossy leaves. This is the dendrobium. Now we go across to the other side. A bit of a sad story going on here with the white phal. It was totally infested with the mealybugs, and I replanted it. I got rid of it, I cut off everything, all the old spikes gone there, and I washed it out and put neem oil and replanted it in moss and leca mixture. This will give air pockets in the moss. I don't really like moss, I don't trust it, so but I'm going to try this, see if this combination works. An old leaf is dying. We'll let that go and let this orchid rest. I have fertilized it and hope that it recovers. Okay, this is the dendrobium I had recently got. I think this is a cane dendrobium that drops all its leaves and then flowers on the canes. So I've never owned such a dendrobium before, and it will be very interesting to see what happens. The keikis are still growing on it. Okay, and this is my favorite Phalaenopsis, the pink Phalaenopsis that won a prize last year, and also receiving the morning sun. Very nice. And of course it has flower after flower after flower, well shingled, as they say. You know, the orchid judges, when they talk about the way the flowers are displayed on the plant, they say if you keep the spike pointed to the light in a consistent manner, always the same direction, then you will get this beautiful, what they call shingling, layer upon layer upon layer. And every flower gets its share of exposure. So here is the little branch on the side. Bring it there, still a bud to come. This also had some mealybug infestation. I did use the fungicide and I managed to get rid of every single time I could see something. It died. I made sure I sprayed it. I had to spray it 2 or 3 times on a weekly interval. Finally got rid of it. I think I might get a secondary spike here. I think. But that'll be when these blooms fall off. We'll wait and see what happens. So this orchid already has 2-3 branches on it. So, you know, on the same primary spike. So I think that's why it had lots of secondary blooms last year. I mean, that is, the species itself is already, the primary spike has branches on it already. The rest of the plant looks healthy, looks fine. And here is the sick orchid I'm trying to save, staked on a piece of wood on a temporary basis in sphagnum moss and a bag, waiting for a piece of driftwood or bark or a nice sturdy thing that I can mount the orchid on. So once I get that, I plan to tie it up on a bark and hang it, and I will water it frequently, and I'll trick the orchid into thinking that it's living freely in nature, in its natural habitat. Okay, so that's the update. Isaac had asked for the updates of all my orchids. They are indeed in full bloom, and I hope you have enjoyed watching and looking at them as much as I do. Thank you. Bye-bye.